is Adrian, welcome to my channel. Today I'm here to bring you another tag video. I feel like that's like the 5th time I said that, mostly because I'm filming all my tag videos in succession. So I've got a bunch coming at you in the next couple weeks. But today's tag is the mid-year freakout tag. I did this tag last year. It was really fun and everybody started doing it again, so I thought I may as well jump on that bandwagon while we're at it, right? So far, as of right now, I have read 40 books and I have a goal set for 52. So I've only got 12 books to do for the rest of this year, so should I go into a really bad reading slump, I'm still gonna make my goals. I'm hoping actually to move my reading goal to 70 books, but I don't think I'm gonna do that officially because I don't want to stress myself out. But that's an unofficial goal for right now. I'm still keeping it at 52. So 40 books in 52 is pretty good. I don't really have that much to freak out about this year. There are 15 questions, so let's just jump right in. First up is the best book you've read so far this year. I have read some really good books this year, but I would have to go with Gemini. This is the second book to the Illuminae Files, and this was my favorite book. I like this one more than any other one because it was kind of creepy, and I'm not a huge horror fan, but this one verged on horror, but in a way that I really enjoyed. I also really enjoyed the characters in this book better than I enjoyed them in the first book and in the last book. So this one was my favorite. I really loved it. It's the best book that I read so far, and this is also the answer to the next question, which is the best sequel that you've read so far this year. Obviously this one. If it was my favorite book, it's my favorite sequel. Next up is a sequel that's come out this year that you have not yet read, but you really want to. I've got two. The first one I haven't read yet because I still have to read the second book in the series, and that's The Reaper at the Gates by Sabasahir. I am very excited about this one. I still, as of filming this video, have not read Torch Against the Night, but it's up on my TBR again. Hopefully I get to it pretty soon. The second one that's come out that I want to read that I have read the first book for is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. I did a whole read-along / book review for this one way back when it came out a 1.5 years ago, and I did enjoy it. It wasn't my favorite book, mostly because it was being compared to The Night Circus and it didn't really live up to that, but it was a pretty good book and I am very excited for the next one. Question number 4 is your most anticipated book for the second half of the year. Guys, I don't have an answer for you for this one. I have been so busy that I haven't had time to look at what's coming out in the second half of the year, which is why I haven't brought you a most anticipated summer releases video this time around, because I haven't had time. So I don't really know. I do know that the Last Turn of Glass book is coming out and I am excited about that one. I'm hoping to be able to get through another book before it comes out, but I can't really read it yet because I still am only on Queen of Shadows. Question number 5 is the most disappointing book you've read so far this year. I'm gonna have to go with Pines by Blake Crouch. I think I gave this one a 3 stars, which isn't that bad. But I was comparing this one to Dark Matter, and I loved Dark Matter. It was my second most favorite book of the year from last year. So I had a really high hopes for this book, and it just wasn't as good as Dark Matter was. It still was suspenseful. It was still the Blake Crouch type of writing. It was just not as good, and it fell flat comparatively. Maybe it's not fair. Maybe I shouldn't have compared it to Dark Matter, but I did, and so it fell flat for me. I was disappointed. Number 6 is a book surprise. I'm gonna go with Fires and Nerve by Marissa Meyer. This one didn't surprise me because of the story necessarily. It surprised me because it's a graphic novel and I do have a visual impairment, so I didn't know if I would be able to read a graphic novel. So for all these years that graphic novels have been a thing, I've been avoiding them, and I read this one and I did enjoy it. I was able to follow the story and it was a good experience, so I was surprised that I actually got through it and still liked it. Number 7, a favorite debut author that you've read this year. I am going to go with Gail Honeyman, and she was the author of Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. I loved this book. I will say that this book was not the most complicated book. It was not the most interesting book maybe even that I've read about, but Gail's way of writing to make you feel completely immersed in these characters' lives was phenomenal. I fell in love with Eleanor. You feel like you relate to all these characters. You feel like you know them, like they might be your friends, and that is a wonderful thing that does not happen for me personally very much in books. I don't find myself relating to a lot of characters, and I loved Eleanor. I fell in love with her, so I cannot wait to read any other books that Gail throws at us. Next up is newest favorite crush. You guys are going to be disappointed with the next couple answers for me, but I don't really have one. I don't really have book crushes very often, but if I had to pick, I guess I would go with Rowan from the Throne of Glass series. Now, I've only read up through Airfire, so if Rowan turns out to be like this awful evil guy, don't tell me, because I don't know. But I did enjoy him in Airfire, which is where we see him for the first time. I did like him. He seems like a good guy. So if I had to pick a fictional crush, I guess I would go with Rowan. Question number 9 is newest favorite character. I'm going to go with Gavin from the Black Prism. This is the Lightbringer series, the first book in the Lightbringer series. I've actually got a spoiler-free review coming up for this pretty soon. But I loved him, and for reasons that I can't tell you anything about. But he is such a complicated guy, and every time you think you've got him figured out, something else comes up. I also love his magical abilities. If you don't know anything about the Lightbringer series, this is a world where the magic system is based on light and being able to draw magic from different colors of light. You have all different types of magicians. You have a monochrome who can only draft magic from one particular color from light, and then you've got polychromes who can draft from multiple different colors, and you have one prism who can draft from every single color in the color spectrum. And Gavin is the prism in this book, and he's just a phenomenal character. I would recommend this book if you have not yet read it. I do have a couple problems with it that you probably have heard about either in my wrap-up or my book review, depending on which one comes out first. But I did really enjoy it, and Gavin is definitely my new favorite character. Question number 10 is a book that made you cry. I've got the same answer that I had last year, is there isn't one. I am sort of heartless and soulless, except I can't entirely say that anymore, because at the end of last year, I did read a book that made me cry, and that was It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This book had me sobbing my eyes out. It was the first book that I ever have read that made me cry. I technically read this at the end of last year, so I shouldn't be mentioning this anyway, but I thought a book that can make me cry is noteworthy and should be mentioned regardless. Question number 11 is a book that made you happy. For this one, I'm going to go with Let's Pretend That Never Happened by Jenny Lawson. This book was hysterical. I listened to this one on audio, and it was read by Jenny herself, which made the experience so much better. Jenny Lawson wrote a book that I read earlier last year, which was called Furiously Happy, and that one deals with mental health. This one is sort of just like a memoir from all the quirky things that has happened in Jenny's life, and it was absolutely hysterical. If you need a laugh, you should totally go listen to this one or read it, but the audiobook was fantastic, so I recommend that one. Number 12 is another disappointing answer. Favorite book to movie adaptations. I have not really watched any movies this year. I just don't have time, guys. I'm such a busy person. I go to bed really early, so I haven't watched any movies. At least not any books movie adaptations, and that's a terrible thing. If you know any really good ones, let me know in the comments below so I can go check some out. At least I'll try, anyway. Question number 13 is your favorite video that you've done so far this year. For this one, I'm going to go with my announcement video that I made regarding my channel relaunch. This one wasn't necessarily a very special video or out of the ordinary. I'm not even in it. I just announced the relaunch of my channel and my new channel name, and I had been planning that for months, so I was so excited to relaunch my channel. I think the video turned out pretty well too, if I do say so myself. Question number 14 is most beautiful book you've bought since the beginning of the year. I haven't actually bought too many books, so I don't have that many to talk about or to choose from, but I'm gonna go with 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray. I like this cover. I think it's really pretty. And question number 15 is what do you still have to read for this year? Oh man, guys, there are so many books. I want to at least read Queen of Shadows. I'm working my way through a lot of different series trying to close them out. I know I have to still read Clockwork Princess to close out that series. So it's taken me a while. I've got a lot to read. There's too many books. I couldn't possibly mention them all in this one little question. That's all for this year's version of the mid-year freakout tag. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm not really freaking out. I'm doing pretty well so far. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you have not yet, I would love for you to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.